In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as Bitcoin runes reclaim dominance over the Bitcoin transactions. We'll also be discussing, is China warming up to Bitcoin ETFs? I think so. Mainland China, let's freaking go. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin reaching 1 billion transactions, as well as Bitcoin whales gobble up over 47,000 biddies, worth almost $3 billion in just 24 hours amid the new era. I'll be breaking down the latest from the Crypto Quant CEO, as well as Bitcoin to reach $150,000 this cycle, still on the table, according to the latest Bernstein analysts. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, yo, in today's show. If you're new to the stream, very important to smash that subscribe button to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every day, 7 days a week, just like this. Also important to pump the likes to help pump the stream. It helps out tremendously with the YouTube algo. And today is pod episode number 1631. I'm your host, JV, and it's May 6th, 2024. So let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Bitcoin having a bit of a correction this morning. We even tapped 65 G's, baby. But right now at the time of the live, we're at 63.5. Solana up 7%, XRP in the green and AVAX in the green, while Ether and Cardano are pulling back and in the red. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index. Let's get a refresh for the latest digits. We're sitting at a 2.35 trillion market cap with 73 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance 53.3% with Ether dominance at 15.8%. How high do you feel the Bitcoin dom will likely climb for the cycle? Holla. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past 24 hours. We got Athena up 11%, WorldCoin 8.5%, and Jupe up 7.5%. Below that, Injective, Solana, and WIF. Now, which alts in particular are you guys most bullish on for this bull run? Let me know in that live chat. And checking out the crypto bubbles on the daily to get that visual perspective. I'd say roughly 60% of the alt market in the red with a handful pumping, and in the green. And zooming out on the monthly to get a broader perspective, you can say Rex City, the majority of the alts, I'd say 90 to 95% of them correcting and in the blood red. Not a good look. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, we're currently rated 71 greed, 69 yesterday, 67 last week, and 75 last month in greed. So there you go, crypto fam. Anyways, fam, let's continue. A little Bitcoin technical analysis paralysis, huh? A little astrology for men for the broskies. Bitcoin's price tag 65 G's, baby, during the early Asian trading session this morning, as the 50-day exponential moving average held as Bitcoin's immediate support. And speaking of 60 G's,
60 G's, baby!
yeah, so TradingView showed Bitcoin and USD's pair turned up from lows of 63.3, which is precisely where we're at the time of the live stream, on May 6th, rising 3.4% to an intraday high of 65.5, but we just corrected back down. Here's the daily chart. Now, Bitcoin's approximately 15% above its 2-month low of 56.5, which we just tapped a few days ago. Let me know if you guys took advantage of that dip. I know Nipsey gave us the buy signal, and he was brilliant because Bitcoin started pumping after. Bitcoin's recovery produced a bullish weekly candle that saw Bitcoin funding rates return to a more neutral state after going negative at the end of last week. Quoting Decent Trader, the dip below 60 G's spooked a lot of traders before the price rebounded. Someone say 60 G's?
60 G's, baby!
Anyways, data from CoinGlass corroborates Decent Trader's observation, showing Bitcoin's funding rates on the exchanges are now neutral after turning negative last week. Now, negative funding rates, though infrequent, are typically seen as highly bearish indicators. Conversely, a neutral funding rate around 0.025 per 8-hour period, or 0.5% weekly, signals a reset in trader positions, reflecting a mixed sentiment in the market. However, should Bitcoin turn down from its current levels, key support levels could come into play. Here's what we got to watch out for. These include the 57,000 and 64,000 demand level embraced by the 50-day exponential moving average, which remains a prime buy zone for biddies, according to independent trader Ali Martinez, who shared the following chart from Glassnode showing Bitcoin's recent drawdown saw the market to value, realized value, which is the MVRV ratio, drop below its 90-day moving average, and also said when the MVRV dips below the 90-day average, it signals a buy opportunity. Can you say BTFD, dog? Now, despite Bitcoin's latest ascent to 60 Gs,
60 G's, baby!
never gets old. The Bitcoin MVRV momentum still satisfies this condition, meaning it is still an ideal point of entry into the asset. Quoting him again, despite Bitcoin's recent surge from 57 to 64,000, the MVRV 90-day ratio indicates Bitcoin remains in a prime buy zone. Now, I'm not a big fan of this word because there's a brand. There is a sports drink by the name of Prime that allegedly has forever chemicals in it that will poison you for the rest of your life. In fact, there's a class action lawsuit against them. So, and this is all allegedly, but I am not a fan of Prime. I just want to throw that out there. And I'm not a fan of Logan Paul. I'm not a fan of Crypto Zoo or anything that mofo touches. I just want to make that clear. Do not drink Prime, family. Anyways, I digress. Responding to the market's drawdown last week, the Bitcoin whales took advantage of the entry into the Prime buy zone, damn you Prime, and bought more Bitcoin at discounted prices, according to on-chain data provider Into the Block. The analytics firm noted that addresses holding more than 1,000 biddies have accumulated strongly in recent months with every dip. That's why we say BTFD, dog. However, since every accumulation period was shortly followed by a price increase, the whale accumulation has been dwindling. According to Into the Block, who shared, prices have increased shortly following every accumulation. However, note that each spike in accumulation by these hodlers is smaller than the last. So while this means that large investors have less and less appetite to buy the dip, or it could mean it is still a positive sign as continued accumulation signals bullish sentiment amongst the cohort of investors. Now, I say the smart money is ultimately the whales. Where you at, whales? Follow the whales. Follow the smart money. But anyways, fam, let's dive into our next story of the day. I got a lot to cover. Bitcoin runes, which are actually dominating the blockchain right now. Headline reads, Bitcoin runes reclaim dominance over Bitcoin transactions. That's right. They regained its top position in the Bitcoin network, surpassing the original Bitcoin, ordinals, and BRC20 tokens in terms of daily transactions. The Runes protocol launched officially April 20th, coinciding with the fourth Bitcoin halving. Can you say 420? To increase efficiency on BRC20, an experimental standard for fungible tokens of the Bitcoin blockchain. So data from Dune Analytics shows Runes-related transactions made up a majority of the transactions on the Bitcoin network until April 24th. Runes claimed the highest transaction share of 81.3%. Like, whoa, that was April 23rd, pushing the Bitcoin transaction share down to 18%, with ordinals and BRC20 transactions at 0.1% each. However, Runes transactions dwindled consistently over the next 9 days until May 2nd, as shown right here. Runes began to recover from May 3rd, and in the following days on the 4th and the 5th, Runes regained its transaction share of above 60%. So while the rapid increase in the number of transactions inadvertently increases the network fees, it often works in the favor of the Bitcoin miners. The Runes protocol racked up a whopping 2,253 BTC in fees for the mining community in 16 days. So the miners are absolutely loving it. The mining community welcomes rising fees as their earnings drop significantly following the Bitcoin halving. In May, the total revenue for Bitcoin miners dropped to under 30 million per day. So to maintain profitability, miners have resorted to upgrading their current tech stack with highly efficient mining rigs to reduce operating costs and improve performance and profitability. Now, Bitcoin mining firm Bitfarms allotted 240 million, almost $250 million, for its upgrade, which would eventually nearly triple its hash rate to 21 exahashes per second. And additionally, Bitfarms sold nearly all the Bitcoin it mined over the past 2 months as it continues to reinvest into growing its mining fleet. Now, if you're reinvesting, you understand the long haul trajectory of the King Crypto. Just saying. Now, how many of you are invested in runes of any type on the Bitcoin blockchain? Are you bullish for runes? You already know. But next story of the day, let's keep it moving. Keep the comments flowing. It's appreciated. Big news out of China, fam. Headline reads, is China warming up to Bitcoin ETFs? Let's discuss it. The launch of the spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs in Hong Kong on April 30th has opened new avenues for the Asian traders. Shout out to my amazing Asians. Now, while the first week of trading for Hong Kong-based spot ETFs was lukewarm compared to their counterparts in the USA, Hong Kong's proximity to China has made it a key point of discussion on whether the ETFs could be accessible to mainland China investors. Now, Richard Byworth, the managing partner of Cis Capital, and Bitcoin investor, has ignited rumors with recent comments suggesting Bitcoin ETFs listed in Hong Kong can soon be accessible to investors from mainland China. #winning. Now, Byworth, in a response to Samson Mao on X, said he heard talks that the spot Bitcoin ETF could be added to Stock Connect. Stock Connect allows qualified investors from one market to access eligible shares in another market with a set quota. The Shenzhen Hong Kong Stock Connect, a cross-border investment route, connects the Shenzhen Stock Exchange to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. My favorite cities in China, by the way, are Shenzhen, which is right near Hong Kong, right? It's on the outskirts of the mainland, and then you could take whatever, and then you can hit up Hong Kong, but Shenzhen is pretty lit, yo. Very nice. Investors in either market can utilize their local brokers and clearing houses to trade shares in the other market. The Stock Connect program covers a wide range of stocks, but is subject to a daily quota. And while Byworth words are mere rumors, China's anti-crypto stance made it a topic of discussion. Of course, we also have Brian Hoonjong, co-founder and chief operating officer of SmashFi, Smash That Fi, also addressed the rumors about the mainland China investors potentially accessing the Hong Kong ETFs in the near future. He said 70% of Chinese wealth is in real estate and that there are now 100 million empty homes. Now, the CCP, we know is the Chinese Communist Party, needs an alternative asset to mitigate social unrest. Another post, he listed several trade arrangements between Shanghai and Hong Kong markets that would allow Chinese investors to invest in spot Bitcoin ETFs in Hong Kong. And apart from the Shanghai Hong Kong Stock Connect and Shenzhen Hong Kong Stock Connect, the qualified domestic institutional investor scheme, interesting choice of words, allows qualified Chinese institutional investors to invest in overseas markets, including Hong Kong. And another trade agreement, the mutual recognition of funds between Hong Kong and the mainland China, allows eligible mainland and Hong Kong funds to be distributed in each other's markets. We all know China banned the Bitcoin mining and foreign crypto exchanges from their mainland customers back in 2021. However, despite the blanket ban on crypto-related businesses and services, Chinese courts have deemed Bitcoin legal property in several jurisdictions. So there you have it. A lot of wealth in China, massive population in China. And if these Chinese investors all get access to the Hong Kong ETF, I think that's a pretty big deal. I don't know how many people are in China. I would guesstimate over 1 billion. I'd say probably even closer to 2 billion, but I'm going to say 1 to 1.5 billion. Someone look it up. Let me know. I know India also has a massive population, maybe even as much or bigger than China. I think the two biggest populations in the world as far as countries are concerned, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to guess China and India or India and China. I don't know which way, but I know that's a big population, so let's freaking go. Next story of the day. Let's discuss Bitcoin reaching 1 billion transactions. That's right. The Bitcoin network processed its 1 billionth transaction, marking a huge milestone moment for the network. 15 years after its creation, we got Clark Moody's Bitcoin dashboard showing the transaction 1 billionth was processed in block 842,241. May 5th. It comes 15 years, 4 months, and 4 days after the synonymous creator, Satoshi, mined the network's first block via the Genesis block on Jan 3rd. Hence, Samson Mao's company's name is Jan 3. That's because that's when we had the Genesis block. Now, anyways, the network processed an average of 178,000 daily transactions in its 5,600 day existence. 5,600 days of BTC. Let's go. Shout out to Shane Sullivan. He just became a MicroStrategy member for the next 2 months. And he wrote, like every day as if it's your last. Live every day like as if it's your last. Thank you, family, and greatly appreciate the support. Now, the count doesn't include transactions made on the Lightning Network, a Bitcoin Layer 2 payment protocol, enabling even faster transactions. How many of you are using Lightning? Let me know. Even Coinbase is now using Lightning, and of course, Binance. I know the top exchanges, which is good. Now, data from the Bitcoin-only exchange River found the Lightning Network processed a lower bound estimate of 6.6 million transactions alone, August 2023, suggesting hundreds of millions of transactions have been made via Lightning since it launched January 2018. Now, the daily transactions on Bitcoin spiked around the network's fourth halving event, April 20th. Again, happy 420. With a record high of 926,000 transactions processed April 23rd. Much of this demand came from the launch of Rune's protocol at block 840,000. Whoa. That said, Bitcoin's daily transactions count has since cooled off to 660,000 as of May 4th. Despite Bitcoin being the oldest crypto network, it isn't the first of its kind to process 1 billion transactions. Bitcoin's biggest rival, Ether, processed well over 2 billion transactions since its launch, July of 2015. So that's ultimately 6 years after Bitcoin, according to the Etherscan data. Bitcoin, as you know, it's currently very volatile, as we would anticipate at around the time of a halving, considering we just had a halving a couple of weeks ago, family. I say expect extreme volatility leading up to the halving and post-halving. There's nothing new about that. Hence, a couple of days ago, we tapped 56.5. We're already back at 63 to 65. Expect more of that. Next story of the day. Let's break down the latest with the Bitcoin whales. Gobble, gobble. I ain't talking about Turkey. The chief executive of a blockchain intelligence platform, CryptoQuant, says Bitcoin whales snapped up nearly 3 billion worth of biddies in 24 hours, yo. That's right. CryptoQuant CEO Ki Young Ju tells his 345,000 followers on X that the deep-pocketed investors have gobbled up tens of thousands of biddies in just one day, signaling the approach of the new era. Welcome to the new epoch, dog. Quoting him here. Bitcoin whales accumulated 47,000 biddies in the past 24 hours. We're entering a new era. And here you can see, according to CryptoQuant's chart, balances for the whale addresses. Look at that. That's right. To get these results, they used search filters on CryptoQuant to find the whales of the top crypto assets by market cap that hold at least 100 Bitcoin and had a transaction within a 24-hour time frame and do not qualify as a centralized exchange or miner wallet. He goes on to note that the recent spike of whale activity surrounding the biddies is not related to the Bitcoin ETFs, which were approved by the US SEC on January 11th. Last month, he said the newer crypto whales or investors that CryptoQuant defines as holding at least 1,000 Bitcoin with an average coin age of less than 155 days have accumulated nearly twice as much biddies as their long-term hodler counterparts. Where are my whales at? Anyone here holding over 1,000 Bitcoin? Keep that secret and don't tell anybody, just saying. Now, long-term hodler whales hold at least 1,000 biddies with an average coin age of 155 days or more. Where are my long-term hodlers at? You can make some noise for that. Now, at the time, he said that the old Bitcoin tokens were being transferred to the new hodlers after Bitcoin's average dormancy rate recently hit the 13-year peak. So there you go, yo. Let me know your thoughts on that. But anyways, fam, now for our featured story of the day. Bitcoin to 150 G's, baby. Still on the cards, according to the Bernstein analysts. Let's break down the latest from them. As you can see here in the headline, the crypto verse is extremely dynamic. Therefore, fortunes can swiftly fluctuate as they do, and predictions often carry the weight of speculation. Hence, a prediction is speculation. It's one and the same. Despite recent market turbulence, analysts at Bernstein remain resolute in their convictions, reinforcing their bold forecast for Bitcoin's trajectory. A retrospective examination illuminates the significance of Bernstein's stance. Remember Bernstein Bears? I remember reading these books as a child. No relation, but hey, just saying. Bitcoin, the world's largest crypto, weathered a tumultuous period between March and April of this year, enduring a substantial correction of nearly 22%. Hey, so instead of 1111 earlier, guess what? 11 plus 11 is 22. Just saying. During the volatile phase, prices plunged from the year's peak of 72.8, which is the current high we hit mid-March, to the current low, which we just struck a couple of days ago at 56.5. However, we got Bitcoin back on the rise. Obviously, we gained a lot of momentum since tapping out at that low. Now, Bernstein's analysts maintain unwavering optimism, as they should. They reiterate their prediction of the king crypto ascending to an unprecedented $150,000 per coin within the current cycle, projected to materialize by the end of next year in 2025. Now, the architects of this bullish prognosis exude confidence in their assessment. Additionally, they express increased confidence in their prediction, supported by promising metrics indicative of robust cycle still in its infancy. Additionally, they note the attractive risk reward for Bitcoin, further reinforcing their positive look. So let's discuss this for a moment. Let's discuss some of these bullish catalysts, which need to be considered when speculating on price predictions here, especially for this particular cycle. Obviously, we have massive institutional FOMO, which in my opinion is just getting started. The ETFs went live here in the States on January 11. That's right. And there were initially 11 ETFs. They say now 10 because I think they exclude GBTC often when we talk about this. And they actually converted their GBTC product into the spot ETF after the long-winded lawsuit with the SEC, which gave the green light for the SEC to finally frickin' approve some spot ETFs for the biddies. And lo and behold, they officially went live. BlackRock now probably has close to 300,000 Bitcoin about to flip GBTC. GBTC had over 620,000 Bitcoin before their GBTC product got converted into an ETF. Now, BlackRock is one institution. Collectively, the ETFs have now accumulated close to 900,000 Bitcoin in less than 4 months. Let that sink in. There can only ever be 21 million of these things. They say several million are lost and gone forever. 1.1 million are in the wallets of Satoshi. We have a very finite limited supply. So just between the ETFs and the United States, we have this game theory playing out in real time. And now we have the Hong Kong ETFs, which just officially went live recently. And we're about to get mainland China potentially able to invest into the ETFs through Hong Kong. That's a big deal. As we mentioned earlier, there's approximately 1.4 billion people in China. There's massive amounts of wealth in China. They own massive amounts of real estate. What's going to happen when they invest into the digital real estate, aka digital gold, aka perfect money, aka pristine collateral, aka JV's favorite thing in the world, BTC? That's when the game theory is really going to kick off or lift off. And they also say we're going to get the bulk of the ETF inflows a-coming, meaning we haven't even scratched the surface yet. Then you start to calculate the existing companies that have the biddies on the balance sheet. First one that comes to mind, it was the first publicly traded company to put the biddies on the balance sheet, and that's Mike Saylor's MicroStrategy. They already have, something like 230,000 Bitcoin. And then you have nations, nation state adoption, El Salvador, collectively purchasing Bitcoin every day, buying the dip. Then we have Mr. 100, currently a mystery, but I think they have now amassed over 70,000 Bitcoin. So just these big players, they're gobbling up Bitcoin like there is no tomorrow. Like most of the Bitcoin supply right now is in the hands of the long-term hodlers. And I start to think out loud here, and what I'm anticipating is a serious legitimate supply shock. They say there's less than 1.8 million biddies even available on the exchanges. And when you have mass adoption, we just witnessed the fourth Bitcoin halving a couple of weeks ago, around 420. It was actually on the 19th in the evening, but in some countries it happened on 420, so I must say happy 420. But there are so many bullish catalysts, and we haven't even touched into the new accounting changes, which are going to lead to more institutions investing into Bitcoin. Even Tesla and SpaceX have the biddies on their balance sheet. Granted, stupid Elon Musk sold 75% of them. And obviously, if they would have just held on to them, they'd have massive gains. But it is what it is. You have other companies getting into Bitcoin. Obviously, there's thousands of companies in the world, if not millions. Now, how many other countries are going to follow in the footsteps of MicroStrategy and park their wealth into Bitcoin? What if Apple or Amazon or one of these big companies, or even like a big retailer like a Walmart, were to adopt Bitcoin? How much money would they be saving in transactions that go to these payment rails from Visa or MasterCard or Discover? Bitcoin makes them obsolete. Bitcoin puts them out of business, because when you make a Bitcoin transaction, the transaction is the settlement. You don't need to be paying 2% for millions of charges. You know what I mean? So the big retailers can literally save billions of dollars per year just by adopting Bitcoin for their retail customers. Billions of dollars. What big company is going to be the first to just, let's save the billions and let's pass on these savings to the customers? What if the customers were incentivized with cash back or Bitcoin back? Get Bitcoin back. Or, use Bitcoin and save on that processing fee from the merchant. Who wouldn't do that if you had the option to choose? Who wants to wait for a settlement? That's why you get charged such large fees. Bitcoin destroys and makes a lot of those payment rails obsolete, right? So what's happening? The world is changing. The world is becoming digital. The world is fed up with the physical, right? It's not about physical things. That's why one Bitcoin is worth $63,500 in fiat monopoly tulip bulb trash we call fiat currency, right? One digital Bitcoin is worth 63,500 physical freaking dollars. Let that sink in. Would you rather have an ounce of gold worth $2,000 or one digital Bitcoin, which isn't even physical, that's worth 63,500 USD, right? And sometimes we compare Bitcoin to USD, and we shouldn't even be, because the dollar is worthless. That's the trajectory. The dollar is going down. That's why Bitcoin continues to go up. That's why Bitcoin's been on a 15-year bull trajectory against the US dollar. And it's not going to slow down. The purchasing power of the dollar is doomed. You're going to be able to afford less and less with those dollars, right? Shrinkflation, inflation, hyperinflation. And on the other side of that coin, Bitcoin is going to continue to do its thing and go up in purchasing power. It's a mathematical certainty. It's not even a question. It's not even a debate, right? The only one debating it is the stupid people, the people treating fiat as a store of value, the Peter Schiffs of the world.
We call them the core. There's a name for them.
And there is a name for them, and we don't like to make fun of them, but just calling a spade a spade. You know what I mean? The smart money is in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the future. The future is digital. Digital wealth trumps anything physical, in which can be confiscated. Bitcoin is immutable. You cannot change it. These corrupt politicians love controlling your lives. The only thing they can't control is Bitcoin. Bitcoin separates money from state. It's the Achilles heel to the central banking cartels. And once you start to understand the corruption behind how money is made, and you read the Bitcoin standard and you get the knowledge and you realize, whoa, Bitcoin is priceless. I can steal it right now at 63,500 per coin, right? Once you start to truly grasp how limited, how much of a finite limited supply Bitcoin truly has, it's not even a question no more. You start to realize, I don't want dollars. I don't want fiat. I wouldn't even wipe my arse with the fiat. Why? Because I probably catch a disease. Because US dollars are primarily used for illicit activity. Unlike the biddies. Just saying, show me the biddies and let's freaking go. And with that being shared, when do you feel Bitcoin will cross the $150,000 benchmark? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to read your comments out loud. Hopefully you enjoyed my little rant this evening. I mean it 100%, 110% of every word I'm saying. Bitcoin will change the world. It already is, right? It is the only antidote to the central bank digital slavery system, which is being rolled out right now. There's pilots all around the world for these CBDCs. If you want freedom, you want unconfiscatable wealth, you want the greatest appreciating store of value in human history, which is only going to continue to appreciate, you stack the biddies, right? You stack the biddies. Mic drop. I can't drop the mic. It's on a mic stand. But if I could throw the mic out the window, I'd freaking throw it right now.